así nos tienen, trying to make us believe that we're half-breeds, that we're no good, that we're mutts, ¿verdad? I hear young girls telling me, well, I'm a little of this and I'm a little of that. I'm a mutt. No, you're not, mija. You're a pure 100% human being. And see, this is why we talk about terminology and why terminology is important, why history is important. I've had people say, well, you're caught in a time warp. That's derogatory. What are you talking about? Chicano studies is not in every single school. It's not taught to every single child of Chicano ancestry, of our people. And so then all I'm doing is teaching that history. But I'm caught in a time warp. See, that's to put you down. You know, when they say you're Chicano centric, all you talk about is Chicanos. Yeah, that's what I'm supposed to do because the white man is not going to talk about Chicanos. The Puerto Ricans are not going to, they're Puerto Rican. They're not going to talk about Chicanos. I have to talk about Chicanos, but these are the words to minimize us, to demean us, to make us look like we're less than. What is a Chicano-centric? A Chicano-centric, a centric is somebody who is the center of the universe. Have we ever been the center of the universe? Chale! Son mentiras, but this is what they feed us every single day. So, these are some of the solutions that we have, and we have to keep reinforcing these solutions. Now, Raul, where are we at on time? Raul, anybody, what's the time?
2:30.
2:30. All right, so I've gone on for what, 20 minutes?
20 minutes, yes, sir.
Orale. All right, so that's pretty much it. I mean, I could keep going for another 10, but
let's open up for questions or comments.
Let's open it up for questions. If you have a question, let's try to break it down.
Any questions? You're mute, Emilio. Mute. Wait a minute. Ahorita. Anybody
else? Question?
Ahorita. I think
all questions are good.
Okay. Roberto Alonso, you have your hand raised. Ahorita. Roberto, unmute yourself.
Okay, I did. Okay. First of all, sir, thank you for your presentation. Mine's Roberto Alonso from Dallas, Texas. Like I mentioned, originally from Crystal City. Thank you for your presentation. Thank you for the beginning of how you talked about, repatriation, Operation Whackback, a gatekeeper, and so forth. To add to that component, my dad and my uncles and aunts and grandparents were part of that process. My grandparents went to Toledo, Ohio, and 5 aunts and uncles were born in Toledo. When repatriation came, they sent them back to Mexico. And they came hiding back to the United States. And I say that because, like you said, we got to record the history, and our aunts and uncles and parents didn't tell us, so we said it. In a good thought of your presentation, as far as like letting people know different ways, whether it can be in a Zoom, a chat, TikTok. It's very, very important. Very important. I was at an event for Hispanic Heritage Month in Dallas. I think it was Wednesday, and I was talking to some of the young, the junior college students that hang out with LULAC and they have meetings like you talk about. So I tell them how I created Mexican American Studies, and they didn't know. So the kids tell their advisor, "Why didn't you tell us? Why didn't you tell us about this guy?" So part of what happens is, like you said, we don't say it. So because we don't say it, we don't know. Now I take it to a big number. Okay, so 1900 there's 100,000 Mexicans. 1910, 1,100,000. 1970, 7 million. Right now, 50 million. So what started 50 years ago with the Chicano movement was dealing with 7 million. Now we're dealing with 50 million. 50 million. So, in a nutshell, my thought is this: whatever we do, whether in a group or as individuals in a small gang, and like you said, with our family as well, we got to spread the word. Finally, I'll tell you this: the stories that come out. Friday night, I was with this singer, Chicano Music, who has played with Little Joe and all the Chicano music group. He said he's about, I'm 68, so he's about 4 years old. He said when he was in high school, he was, you know, awesome, saxophone player. He was going to be the drum major. And this gringo teacher from Skyline here in Dallas said, in a small voice, he said, a Mexican will never be a drum major. That killed him because he's a kid at the time. Killed him. So anyway, thank you for encouraging us to spread the word, to tell the stories, to talk the terms, and record it, which is what Raul is doing right now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have Lupe Chavez. He raised his hand. Lupe, go ahead. Lupe, you mute.
Yes, thank you. I just have to figure out the app. No, thank you for your presentation. I just had like, oh, and again, sorry that I was unmuted there in the beginning. I thought I was muted, but going back to your, idea where they say you're stuck in a time warp. I mean, I thought the goal of the Chicano movement was to get us where we at, where we have the voting rights, we're represented, now obviously now, it's different. The world's changed on us. But you did open your remarks with fascism. I guess where do you see? I mean, where are we now? I mean, should we all be out like the response in Los Angeles, where we see a lot of people out at the ICE stations? I know here in McAllen, the Rio Grande Valley, we have like 2 or 3 major depots where the ICE and Border Patrol, and DHS are stationed. We also have Texas DPS. So I mean, are we past the point of meetings and terminology at this point? Considering what's going on. I'm just curious as to your thoughts.
Perfect. So, no, we're never past the point of meetings and Zoom and whatever, right? Because we have to communicate with each other, okay? But it is the gravity of the situation, right? The gravitas. All right. So, what do? Well, we all have to come together and we have to say, okay, yeah, this is great, but what are we going to do? What is the process? What is our next step? Okay. So what I recommend is march, a march on the capital city. Go talk and confront the governor of Texas. You see, that's what it has to take, right? I mean, it's not going to do you any good right now, especially to go, to the ICE detention center or talk to ICE, because right now there's a big backlash, right? That somehow we're terrorists, right? Because that's the picture they're trying to paint. So you want to avoid, the direct confrontation with ICE. What you want to do is go to the Capitol and confront the governor. And now what are you going to say? ¿Verdad? I mean, no matter what, they're always going to call us militants, radicals, terrorists, whatever. You're always going to get that label. But the point is to confront the governor of the state and call him out on all his crap. You know what I mean? And tell him that yeah, we're going to vote against you. We're going to organize. And it's not just that, it's the message that you're sending to the rest of the population of Texas. All the Chicanos, that they're taking advantage of us, that they're restricting all these, gerrymandering all of these regions so that they only have a voice and we have nothing. So what are you going to do? Yeah, we all say, Texas, this and that, but ¿de qué te sirve if your children are in concentration camps?
Vicente Carranza.
Robert, thank you for your time, but the history of this Zoom group goes about 5 or 6 years. And if you can see, all of us are elders. We've been around for a while. Everything you said is like singing to the choir.
Yes, excellent. Yes.
We all already know everything you said. Mm-hmm. We have done it, tried to do it, repeated doing it, and everything else. But it does something is missing, that it doesn't happen. You say, let's have a march to the Capitol. If you call a march like now in Texas, if you have more than 100 people, it'd be too many. Okay? And I don't know the atmosphere that we living in this state that prevents it. Another comment, every time we organize a meeting, because of an issue, we go to the meeting and try to organize the people to move. It becomes a Democratic Party meeting. How we have to get those rascals out, those Republicans, because they're no good, and we got to go out and vote. And it becomes a Democratic meeting instead of a meeting of struggle. What's your uh, intake on that?
I agree with you 100%. You know what I mean? Again, Rodolfo Corque Gonzalez always said that the Democrats and the Republicans are a two-headed hydra. They're the same thing. They all sleep together. You might not see it, but they're all together. And, I understand elections. I understand, the vote. Okay, that's all wonderful and that's all great. But you cannot invest yourself in a system that is not helping you, period. Okay, so yeah, we get locally, we can control, the city council. Well, that's great, that's wonderful, but you're still not controlling the state. You're still not controlling Congress. You're still not controlling, and again, even if you do control some of it, there's generals on top that are not Mexican. They're all white. 90% of the corporations I would say 98% of all corporations, all CEOs are still white. So, ¿dónde estamos trying to invest in a democratic system in the Democrats cuando they play dumb, ¿verdad? The Anglo plays dumb, and the gringo cuts our throat. So what do? They've been doing this to us for over 250 years. They did it to Native Americans, right? Viene el Anglo to the territory. He says, "Oh, we're gonna have trade. Oh, that's wonderful. Let's have trade." And then they sign a treaty, right? The Gabacho comes in, the greedy capitalist Gabacho comes in. He says, "Oh, you have gold. You have gold in your land."